Thank you so much, Matt, for sharing the message that God has laid on your heart for our church at this time. And I want you to know that we appreciate you so very much, and we love you so very much. And we're so glad that God brought you and Emily and the family here to BridgePoint Church to partner in ministry with us. So I want to let you know that this video that you're watching right now is going to be made available on our BridgePoint Facebook page, our BridgePoint YouTube page, as well as we're going to send out an email with the main points highlighted for you so that you have something that you can look back on and you can reference if you happen to forget some of the information that we're sharing at this time. So here's what I'm here to tell you today. That's my lame attempt at a drum roll. After much prayer and deliberation, the leadership of BridgePoint Church has decided that we are going to begin regathering for live in-person worship services on Sunday, June the 14th. So next Sunday, we're going to be able to gather together in God's house right here on Summerfield Road at either 9 o'clock or at 11 o'clock to worship together, all right? Now, I know that the church is not a building, but the church is the people. But there's just something special, according to Hebrews 10:25, about God's people being able to gather together in a church building to worship together. Now, please understand, let's use the right terminology. We are not reopening. What do you mean? You cannot reopen something that's never been closed. We are regathering because the church has never been closed. And the church has not stopped being the church in and through all of this stuff that's going on. So we are going to begin regathering next Sunday, June the 14th. Now, let me give you a couple reasons why we've decided that now is the time to begin regathering. We've seen from the numbers that the numbers of the virus has continued to improve. It's continued to go in the direction that we want it to go and that we need it to go. Other churches, not that we're dependent upon other churches, not that we answer to other churches, but other churches either here in our community or around the state of Michigan have begun gathering again for in-person worship services, okay? Our governor has lifted Michigan's stay-at-home order. Just a couple miles down the road in Toledo, Ohio, things have been reopening. Restaurants now have indoor seating, and gymnasiums and workout centers are back in business. And youth sports have begun to take place again. And even after all of that, we have not seen a spike in COVID-19 cases. So our results, I want to let you guys know, we sent out a survey, and thank you so much for responding to that survey and turning it back in. But our survey results revealed that 80% of the people who responded said they are ready to attend a worship service at BridgePoint Church together the very first opportunity they get. And here's another interesting fact about that survey. Over 90% of the people who responded to the survey also marked on their survey that they attend BridgePoint Church every week. So that means we are hearing from the core of BridgePoint Church, the faithfully committed of BridgePoint Church, that they are ready to gather again in God's house. Now, I want you guys to know that by listing these reasons of why we think it's time to regather, we're not trying to justify our plan. We just want you to know that we are not being careless, and we are not just acting rogue and just going and doing our own thing regardless of what anybody else is doing or regardless how it impacts anybody else. Please know that if you decide to join us for a live in-person service beginning next Sunday, that you are going to come to a church building that is clean. The church building is going to be cleaned prior to Sunday services. It's going to be cleaned in between Sunday services. It is going to be a clean environment. There's going to be greeters. that are going to be holding the doors open for people as they come and holding doors open for people as they leave. There's not going to be any distribution of bulletins or sermon notes. We're going to send the sermon notes out in email earlier in the week, and if you have the desire to print it out and bring it with you to church, you are more than welcome to do that, but we're not going to be passing any of it out. We're not going to be passing an offering basket. In place, there are going to be 2 offering boxes that our very own and very talented Mr. Gene Perry built for us. And we're going to put those in the auditorium and near the front door, so you can either drop your offering envelope in the offering box, or you can continue to give online through the PushPay app and continue to support BridgePoint that way. Now this is going to be a biggie, okay? So don't get mad at me, all right? But there's not going to be any coffee provided or any type of snacks, okay? I know. So make sure that you either hit up Tim Hortons or hit up Dunkin', all right, before church or on your way into church, because there's not going to be anything provided for you here. To start, there's not going to be any nursery or any kids point provided for the time being. But online content is going to continue to be provided for our kids ministry until they're able to meet together again in person. And we're just encouraging everyone to bring the entire family into and be able to experience big church, okay? And we're fine with that, okay? This gives our kids ministry staff the opportunity to begin collaborating and talking about a plan for what will kids ministry look like when we're able to have in-person meetings again. The soft date for the launch of kids ministry and nursery again is going to be Sunday, July the 5th. So that's a soft date, right? This whole situation has been fluid. It will continue to be fluid, but that's what we're shooting for, a target date to be able to provide those ministries as well. I also want you to know that youth group is going to begin again Wednesday night, June the 17th at 6:30. So make sure your teenagers are there to be able to see each other again and participate in the first youth service back on June the 17th. Small groups are not going to meet on campus in the buildings on Sunday mornings just to be started, okay? In the meantime, if you have a desire for your group to meet and you need a space for it to meet, contact us in the church office, and we'll try to figure out a time during the week where the groups can get together again and they can meet. Now, masks will be optional. If you want to wear a mask, that's fine, wear a mask. If you don't want to wear a mask, you do not have to wear a mask. That is going to be optional. Nobody is going to judge you either way. If you roll into church with your 5-gallon jug of hand sanitizer connected to your hip with, okay, maybe not with gun spray or anything, but you have it on, that's fine. You do you, okay? You do whatever you have to do in order to feel comfortable gathering together again. We're going to practice social distancing here at BridgePoint Church throughout. Seating is going to be at about 50% capacity, which gives us the opportunity to space rows accordingly. When you come into church, you will see that the rows are still intact, but there's just less rows. Rows have been removed. And we're doing it this way as opposed to seats all over the place, because there's no telling how many people in a particular family are going to show up to church. So if you show up to church with your family of 3, 4, 5, or 6, you already have seats together. And then someone else that's going to be seated, just leave a seat or two in between you and someone else, okay? But that's going to help us be able to provide seating so that we can create a touchless worship experience on a Sunday morning, all right? All of this being said, and this is okay, and this is important, some of you who make up BridgePoint Church are still not going to feel comfortable regathering for live in-person worship at this time. And can I reassure you that that's okay? That is 100% completely fine. We love you. We support you. We're here for you. You're still going to be able to have the opportunity to jump online at 11 o'clock and watch our Facebook Live service, so you can still stay connected with what's taking place here at BridgePoint Church, okay? But for those of you who are ready to regather, it's time to give you the option to do so. Can I encourage you with these things? If you're sick, stay home. If you are older or more susceptible to sickness and this virus, stay home. Stay home and engage with the online service at 11 o'clock, and that is totally and completely fine. Just do me a favor. Don't say you aren't comfortable with coming back to church, and instead of connecting online at 11 o'clock, well, you've got other things to do, so that's just what you're saying. No, stay connected, stay engaged with what we're doing here at BridgePoint Church. Now, this next part is huge. This is big, okay? Don't miss this. We will be asking you to register, you and your family, for the service that you are planning on attending that following Sunday, for two reasons. Number one, it's going to allow us to be able to hopefully even out the services, where we don't have 90% of the room filled on one time and 10% filled during the other service. So it's going to help us even out the services. And number two, it's also going to help us decide whether or not 2 services is enough and we need to go to 3 services, or whether we don't even need 2 services right now and we can go back to 1 service. So what we're going to do is each Monday, Abby is going to send out an email to our church family. And if you click on that email, you're going to be able to register you and your family for, 4 of us are going to be at the 9 o'clock service, or 6 of us are going to be at the 11 o'clock service. And it really is going to help us be best prepared for the amount of people that are going to be in each of the service. So be looking for that email on Mondays from Abby in regards to registering your family. I've shared these verses with you before, and I want to read Ephesians chapter 4 and verses 1 through 3 again. And Paul says, "I therefore, a prisoner for the Lord, urge you to walk in a manner worthy of the calling to which you have been called." And then he says, here's how you do this: with all humility and gentleness, with patience, bearing with one another in love, eager to maintain the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. We are super excited to regather again here at BridgePoint Church, but we have to maintain the unity and respect amongst the body of Christ. Church, thank you for your patience. Thank you for your understanding. Thank you for your continued support of BridgePoint Church through these trying and difficult times. God bless you guys, and we are so excited to be able to see you in person next Sunday at BridgePoint Church. Love you guys.